Okay. Yeah, this is 7:02 and we're starting now. So you're welcome to this 3 days Photoshop class. That is basically on starting a career on um on designing using Photoshop. So our major focus is just to use Photoshop to um help bring out what is on our mind, our creative ability. I believe personally that being a good designer is not about tool. Being a good designer starts from the mind. Yeah, but so for this class, we are just going to be using Photoshop to bring out those wonderful ideas we have. And this class is for total beginners. So if you're a pro, or maybe you are a mid designer, a mid pro designer, just endure with us as we go through this phase, right? So I'm going to be teaching, and if you have questions, you can just use the hand icon to notify me. So I'll try as much as possible um, to be to be slow, yeah, because like I said, we just have 2 hours, and we need to go straight right into what we came here to do. So if you heard me right, I would just like you to give me a thumbs up. If you heard me right, you can kindly give me a thumbs up. So how many are we here? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. We're about 10. Yeah. So did you hear all what I said? If you hear me, kindly give me a thumbs up. So I don't think I need to show my video. Okay, thank you very much. Good. Chinyere Nana. Okay. Okay, okay, good. So can you see my screen? Okay, so we are just going to be we'll be going straight. Uh, okay, so this is the Photoshop interface. If you've installed Photoshop, this is it. This is what it looks like. It is just a simple please hold on. Yeah. So this is the Photoshop interface. This is how it looks like. Very humble. I'm sure a lot of us here have installed Photoshop CC 2019. So I'm just going to start right from where I feel will be important for you. So if you click on File and you click on New here, you're going to be opening up the document panel where you have different types of settings. Yeah. So over here you have different settings, and then um, you can see recent saved photo, print, art and illustration, all that. So these are all the kinds of designs I've worked on. That is why you have this here. These are all the designs I have here, and you can actually save them, but of course I don't, because it's just easy for me to access them here. And Photoshop is used for a lot of things. You can use Photoshop for photo manipulation, for print, also art and illustrator. You can also use Photoshop for UI UX design, and this is also a mobile view, and for just mild kind of editing. So for me here, I'm going to be sticking with the print, because the idea of what we are going to be doing. Yes, yes, the class, yes, it is recorded. Yeah. So I'm just going to be sticking with this pattern panel for now, right? So just for a quick one, I believe we all know what sizes are, but if you don't know what sizes are, your normal jotter, right? Your normal jotter is sure. Your normal jotter size is A5. If you double that jotter size, you're going to be having A4. If you double that A4, it will give you A3. You double your A3, it will be giving you A2. If you have your A5, you'll be having A6. Yeah, so we might not really need to bother about this, but these are just how the sizes flow. A6, A5, A4, A3, A2, then A1. So you can have most of all those sizes here that you can easily just click on, and if you notice, as I'm clicking on this tab here, it is updating here. So if you don't wish to use any of these sizes, you can just simply come here. So let's say we want to design for Instagram, right? And for Instagram, you have sizes that can work for Instagram. So I can just come here to name my design. So let me just say brand flyer. And for Instagram, I usually use inches and pixels, but this is easy in a way. You can easily go on Google and just type Instagram sizes, and it will just pop out there. So for pixels, I can choose to use 1080 by 1350. Instagram posts actually deals well when you use 1080 by 1350 or 1080 by 1080, right? So for resolution, it depends on your RAM strength. So for startup, people who just have low RAM, I usually advise that they use maybe 72 resolution. But for me, I have a very good system. I can actually use 300. So the idea is the higher the resolution, the more tasking it will be for your RAM. So it's always safe to put it around 22. Now, so this is the orientation here. So the width here is lower than the height. It shows that this is a standing design, is a portrait design, right? So if I can choose to switch the orientation to make the width, higher than the height, you can see as I'm clicking on the tab, it is just flipping the sizes, right? So once you are done with this, I think you are okay. You don't need to touch any other thing here, and all you need to do is just to click on create. So once you click on create, you are now welcome into the Photoshop interface where you have a lot of functions. So yeah, okay, let me admit this person. So where you have a lot of functions. Now, did you get that? Please, if you got that, I want you to give me a thumbs up. If you got that, I want you to give me a thumbs up. Okay, good, good. I can see that some people are with me. Thank you. So now this is the Photoshop interface, and in the Photoshop interface, you have a lot of functions, you have a lot of tools and all, right? Like I said, I'm just going to be teaching you what I feel will be important for you. Now, Photoshop is mainly used for photo editing, right? Photo editing. Then, of course, graphic designing is also integrated in it. So you have more of photo editing tools in Photoshop than even graphic designing. Of course, Photoshop can do a lot, right? Photoshop can do a lot. So I always advise people who are Photoshop designers to also learn softwares like Illustrator and InDesign, because those other softwares are just mainly for graphic designing. So these tools here are tools for photo editing and for graphic designing. So we are just going to be picking the ones for graphic designing, and then we'll explore. So first of all, you have this menu tab here. As you hover around the menu tab, you'll be seeing a lot of options. Yes, with time we'll get to explore. So if you click on the file, you see new, open, and all this and that, save as, and you go to your edit. Now you have a lot of functions there. But I would just want you to explore after the class. So our first tool is this first tool here. Now, this first tool is called the Move tool. Now, in any design software, the Move tool is one of the most important tools that you would encounter, you would always visit, in any design software. So for this, I will just quickly, to illustrate how the Move tool works, I will quickly come here and click on this shape. So this is a rectangular tool. You can use your shortcut U to actually trigger this tool. But for me, I'm just going to be clicking it and I will be drawing out this rectangle. So it is just a free draw, right? It is just a free draw. So I don't know how your Photoshop is. For me, because the way I set my Photoshop, as I brought out this tool, it brought out the property. I'm going to be discussing about this property much later. I just want you to focus on this rectangle. So you can see that my mouse cursor has changed to a cross, right? And with this, I might not be able to pick this rectangle. In fact, my if I want to pick this rectangle, you can see I'm just simply redrawing the rectangle tool. So how can I pick this rectangle? The only way I can pick this rectangle is when I come to this move tool. You see, as I click on this move tool, I have the normal mouse cursor, right? And with this, I can choose to pick this rectangle, right? So this is what this tool is for. So let's say peradventure I click on any any key, any tool rather. In order to go back to the move tool, all I need to do is to either come here to click this, or I press V on my keyboard, then I can click this object. Do we understand that? If you understand, give me a thumbs up. Now I'll be requesting for a lot of thumbs up to be sure that we are together. Is that okay? Is that okay? Good. So with this speak to, there are a lot of things we can do. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. So with this speak to, there are a lot of things we can do. That we can choose to resize our shape or whatsoever object is on Photoshop. So in order to bring the resizing tool, all you need to do is to press Ctrl T, right? So in Ctrl T, you can do a lot of things. You can choose to adjust. So say I'm adjusting, yeah, and I can also move too. So when I go around the edges, I can adjust. You can see that the mouse cursor has changed. In fact, when I come close to this node here, you can see how the mouse cursor has changed, right? So with this, I can choose to rotate. I can come over here, rotate. I can move. I can choose to adjust. So this is just one hack for you. Anytime you are dealing with a picture, always resize from the side, right? Because as you resize from the side, you are automatically increasing both the height and the width. Just keep this at the back of your mind. Definitely, as we get to work with photos, we'll get to talk about this more. Do we understand that? Thumbs up if you understand that. Okay, so let me resize back. So I'm just going to delete this because I'm done with the pick tool, the move tool, and the next tool I want to get into is my shape. So of course, this is my shape here. Like I said, you can click on it or you can click on U. So when you click on U, you can choose to draw a shape. Now, if you want an equal rectangle, a square, all you need to do is to hold your shift. Your shift would give you an equal square. Without your shift, it will give you a rectangle. So with shift, it will lock all the sizes in and you get a rectangle, yeah, a square. So let me drop this there and let me also click on this. This is an ellipse shape. If I draw without the shift key, it will give me an ellipse. If I once I hold the shift, it will give me a circle. Yeah, it will give me a circle. So please just have that. Yeah, I understand we have network problem. We're still in Nigeria, but just stay tuned. So we have, once you hold your shift, you have equal size. Without your shifts, you have different sizes. So this is my shape, and I'll quickly want to bring our minds to this panel here that comes up here. So this panel here helps you to format your shape. Okay, so we are back. Yeah, I understand we have network issues. Yes, I understand we have network issues, but there is no problem. So, like I said, this 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 what's it called? This tab here, your property tab here, helps you to format your shape. So currently, what is selected is this circle, right? And here I can see my width and I can also see my height. I can just choose to put 600 here, and you can see my shape would actually go to 600 height. I can choose to add 600 here. So before I forget, right, there are several ways to work using Photoshop, right? So I can actually come here and choose to stretch my circle. As I'm stretching my circle, I'm also seeing the dimensions. You can see close to my mouse. You can see a width, a W, and a H there, right? And you can see I can choose to work on this, use this to determine the dimension of my shape, or I can choose my property toolbar. So it just depends on how you want to work. So this X and this Y determines the position at which my object is on my canvas. Okay, so this white space here is your Canva. So the idea is your paper, right? So that is what Canva is. So let me just move this down. So let's get into this. So we can see that we have the shape details here. First of all, we have a solid color, and then we have this. Now, this solid color is responsible for the colors of my shape. You can see as I'm selecting colors, is actually helping me that. So we are just going to stick with this. Then we also have these options here. Now, anywhere you see this brings out your color palette. So for me, it says recent color use. These are all the colors that I've been using so long, maybe 2 days down or maybe last week. They just help you. They save the colors here for you. And this is my color palette. So here I can choose any color I want. You would notice that as I'm choosing the color, it is updating. It is also updating on my recently used colors, right? So this part here handles the outline. Every shape has two sides. You have the shape color and also your outline. So let me click on this and give this a outline. Let me make the outline red. Now you can see the red outline, right? Currently, this red outline is 9.64 pt. I can choose to increase it. Yeah, I can choose to reduce it depending on what I want to create. Now let me click on this last one here. This last one here will determine the kind of outline you want. So you can want dotted outline, you can want this, and there's a way you can click on this to manually set what you want, but we're not going to be going into that today. So let me just click this and go back here. So back to my color. Who has a question? Tomorrow, right? Do you have a question?
No.
Okay, so you can bring down your hand, right? So I think we should operate like this. After my teaching, we can ask our questions so we don't draw us back. So let me click on this solid color. You can see this was initially not yellow, right? It was black initially. So the idea is anywhere you see this color, it shows your current selection on your Canva. So let me click on this solid color, and I have some options here that I will just talk about. Maybe two of these, then maybe later we can talk about this if we have time. Now, this cross here, this option here is the same option we had on this red outline. Meaning, once you click on this, it takes away the color. So let me go back to my outline here. You can see I also have that option. Once I click on it, what happens? I take away the outline. Now, if you are used to working with any design software like CorelDRAW, Illustrator, even Canva, you understand that your shapes have both shape colors and also shape outlines. So let me go back to the color and then click on this option. Now, this option is a gradient, right? It gives us an opportunity to add various colors on our shapes. So we can also see a preview here. You have previews here. You can choose to click on this preview. You can see all this. You can see how it's updating, right? So, and when you come down here, you would see that you also have the opportunities to click on these individual colors for it to for you to choose your choice color. So I just clicked on that and you can see it has brought out this. So let me change this to black. You see that it's updating and okay. Let me come here. Now, anytime you click on any of these nodes, you see smaller nodes in between. Now, these smaller nodes in between would affect the way each colors will spread to themselves. So let me spread this here, close here. You should see an update on my shape. Did you see that? Right? So let me click on this. Right? I can see that just to it will affect how both colors will blend. So let me come here, click on this. Let me change this to blue. I'll just double click blue, and you can see where this color is currently on my shape. So I can click on it and spread it further. Now, if you want to delete any of these nodes, you can just click on this and drag out. That is one way. Click on it, drag out. Another way is to click on it and delete. If you want to add a node, you just come to the position you want to add the node and you click. So any position you want to add the node, you click on it. You can see. So you can add different nodes, right? And you can give your shape any color you want to give your shape. So to remove any of this node, click, hold, drag, click, hold, drag, click, hold, drag. Sorry. So click, hold, drag. So currently I have three colors here. And for this kind of color blend or gradient, you usually have options. So currently we have linear here. The linear, um, the linear actually, how would I put it now? It's just the way the colors will blend or the direction the colors will blend. So in this case, we have this yellow up. What is that? Please mute your mic. Okay. So in this case, we have the yellow up, the white at the center, and the black down. So let me get back to that option. I will just click on my color. Once I click on my color, it pops out. So in this way, you are simply on the linear. You can change to radial. The radial is more of like a circular form. We can change to the angular. We can change to reflected. We can change to diamond. But don't worry yourself about this. As we continue, we'll get to understand how this works better. This is where I want you to also pay attention to. So currently you have the position at which these colors will stay on the shape. So currently you have the arrow here facing up. You can choose to rotate it. You can see I'm actually rotating it to determine how I want my color to be. And lastly, you can choose to switch or reverse this gradient. So once I click on this, you see it will just reverse, right? Just keep this at the back of your mind. We'll get to explore it, right? So we've been able to use one option, two options, three options, and we'll leave this one because we might not need it now. So you can as well do the same thing for the outline, right? You can choose to remove the color, give it a solid color, and also give it a gradient color. So you see, I've given this a gradient color, and let me choose this, and we can see that we have a gradient color, right? On rare cases, should you even give your outline a gradient color, but you can actually be very creative with that. Do you have any question? Any questions so far? Okay, good. So lastly, this is what we're going to be doing on this panel. Now, we have these options here. Let's focus on these options here. These options represent the edges of every shape that you might want to be working with in Photoshop. So, and you also have this link here. This link represents like a block. What? So, this person here, Umaru, this is the second time I'm going to be muting you. The last time I'll be muting you, I will just kindly block you from this class. Thank you very much. Yeah, and I don't think, yeah, good. So this angles here, right? This four part represents the four angles. So in order to see this properly, I will just want to go back here and bring the outline to the way it should look. Yeah, so it's okay like this. Maybe I can just give it a solid color. Let me give it a solid color so it's clear. Good. So we have this represents the upper left, the upper right, the lower left, the lower right. Now this key here locks them together. So how do I mean? So if I come here with this lock here, I can type 50. When I type 50, we would see that this this whole locks, right? The whole site have actually changed into 50 pixels because of this lock. Now you can individually um, um, determine how this edge will be rounded. So I can just I've actually removed the lock and I want to impute 100 on this upper left. You can see how it is. So it is left to you to be creative on how you want to work with this, right? I believe we're good with that. So next, I want to talk about how to bring in pictures into Photoshop. So you can do that several ways. The religious way that everybody knows is to come down here and look for import. No, not import. You look for place embedded. Yeah, place embedded. You look for whatsoever you want to bring in, and you click on place. So it comes like that. It's coming. Let's just wait for it. Yeah. Okay. This is taking time. And okay, look at it here, and we have our picture here. So anytime you import a picture, you would see a picture with this option to resize it, right? So you can choose to resize your picture, you get, and position it where you want. And when you are done, in order to eliminate this resizing function, you click on either this mark here, right? If you click on this one, it tells you you don't want any adjustment you've made, and then your picture will be off. But when you click on this, it shows that you've accepted your changes, or you can rather just hit your enter key and you have your picture here. So I'm going to delete it. That's one way. The only time I use that is only maybe when I maybe when my picture is far. But there's an easy way to bring pictures into Photoshop. That way is just to pick your picture and just drag it in. So it's usually easy that way. You can see it still has that cross for you to adjust it, and when you are done, you can click on that. So that handles that. So now I want to talk about text. Is that okay? Is Innocent still here?
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay. So let's talk about text. So text tool is very important. Typography is very important when it comes to designing. So in order to do that, you just click on your T, your your text tool, or you click on this T, or you type T on your keyboard. So there are two ways to use text. Number one is to draw a text box. Now you use this mainly when you are working on a magazine, right? So when you're working on a magazine, you do a lot of partitioning where your pictures will be and where your text will be. So the idea is my text would only be confined to this size, right? This position. When you are designing, or maybe you are doing a flyer that might not be obtainable, you can just simply get your text tool and just click, right? So once you click, you would see some small looking, you see that there's something going on there, but that's actually text. So usually this is how it happens on Photoshop until you do some settings. So anytime you click your text and probably you don't see anything, or you see something like this, it suggests that your text size is actually small, right? So by this side here, you can see your character tab, and on your character, you can see a lot of options. Now, the first option you are seeing is your autograph pencil. That is the default font I have here. So for me, I will just quickly go into this part here that has 2.68, which is the size. I'll just click here and make it 60, right? You can see as I've made it 60, you can see that we now have my text. So this is like the last font I used or so. So in most cases, the last font you use designing, or maybe your default font, would be what will be present anytime you open Photoshop. So quickly, I can just click on this drop down here and look for a more readable font. So maybe I will just use I can use Clash Display, yeah, to illustrate what I want to do. So you can see the font. I'm on my move to. That is why I'm able to move my text anywhere. Now this regular part here. Let me explain this. Every font has like a font family where you have different types of weight. So for Clash Display, you have extra large, light. So you have bold. So let me just do that. I'm supposed to do this when we are talking about typography. So I have, let me change this to light or semi bold, and let me change this to light. So it's just like a font family. So when you have this font, you can have the opportunity to have different kind of width, right? Then this one here handles your font size. So you can actually increase your font size in three ways. Either you click on this and you increase it, or you move your mouse cursor close to where you have this TT. Once you move it there, you notice that your mouse cursor will change. You can choose to drag, right? You can see I'm dragging. Then finally, you can, so long numbers here are selected, right? You can use your up and down arrow key on your keyboard to do that. Then I think that is enough for now. But there's a fourth way to actually do that, which is using your Control T, right? You can click on your Control T and drag, depending on how you wish to work, right? But sometimes, if I want to monitor the font size, using Control T might be a problem. So I just use here to impute what I want. So let's say I want 150, I can just put 150 here and I have what I want. Now this here, this next option is called leading. So how does leading works? Leading helps to maintain the spaces in between maybe words or characters. So let me just write um, Samuel is a great guy. He is too good at what he does. Now you can see how my how my text is clustered, right? So in order to put this in an orderly way, I would come to this leading here, click on this arrow and set it to auto. You can see how I have my text readable. So this leading here handles the sizes in between your text. You see, I've placed it on 36. You can see it's clustered. I can click on it and place it on 60. So anytime you type and your text is clustered, all you need to do is to come here and put it on what? Auto. Auto would make it look the way it should look, right? Is that okay? So for here, I'm also going to be talking about tracking. Now you can see when I zoom this in, you can see that my Samuel, SAM, you can see that they are too close to each other, right? It's because I have my tracking at -50. So I can as well come here and click this and put it on 0. So you look at what happened, it has given me space, right? So I can either come here, I can come here and take it to 20, 25, -25. So -25 will tighten it, 25 will release it. That's the way it works. So I can also come here and drag, just like the way we did for the text. Also come here to drag. It just depends on what I want to achieve. But it will make totally no sense if your if your words or the alphabet are too close, it won't make sense. So most times when you are doing your leading, it's good you do it to a point where you feel people can read your text, right? So I noticed I need to put a space here, and that is that. So there's a quick one. Sometimes, oh, okay, no, I'm going to drop that until maybe we'll get to something more engaging. So we can see here, so these are, like I said, I'm just going to be touching what I feel will be important to you. I've been able to touch this, this, and this. So the next thing I want to touch here is your text color, right? So in order to change your text color, you need to click this, and then you have your, this is like your color. You have different kind of colors here, and you can choose on the particular color, right? So let's say I want to choose on red. I have different shades of red, you know. So this aspect here will just help you to choose on a particular color. So let's say you want to design on blue, you have different shades on blue. So you can just play around by dragging, this anywhere your mouse is, you just have the colors there. Is that okay? Is that okay? So then you click on OK. So so thank you very much. I can see that. So finally, you have these options here. You have this for capital letter. So currently, you see that my text is slanted, right? It's slanted because this italic is on. So let me click on this to uninstall it, and I have this not uninstalled to make it invalid, right? I have my Samuel is a great guy here. I can click on bold and we can see bold. I can click on slant and we can see slant, and I can click on T. This T is capital letter and we can see T. We can see this. This is supposed to be small letter. So when it comes to Photoshop, I don't think they've done a lot of justice when it comes to capital letter and small letters. So imagine this is small letter, right? It doesn't look like small letter, So in other words, anytime you are designing on Photoshop, it is important you type your lettering on small cases, right? On small cases, because sometimes you can design for a client and the client will tell you, no, I want that to be small letters. So imagine you've done so much work with this kind of font and they tell you they want it on small letters. So once you click here, there's no way you can get small letters, right? Now you now have to start, retyping the work. So this is, of course, we should know all what this is. This is superscript, and where you want to, it works more when you have two, let me say, 2x. Yeah. So I can just choose to select the X and make it superscript. Yeah, we have subscript, and then you have your underline, right? Now everything is happening to this X because this X is selected. This is simple. Then we have your strike through. So let me come here and get this text. I can use my underline, and I can use my strike through. Is that okay? Good. So the next important tool we're going to be talking about is your hand tool. Right? Your hand tool will help you shift your camera in a position, in a working friendly position. So this is the hand tool, right? So the shortcut is H. So when I click on my hand tool, I can easily just drag to see what I'm doing. Now the shortcut of this hand tool is your space bar, right? It helps me a lot anytime I want to design, and sometimes, especially if maybe I've used my zoom and I can see my Canva this way. So sometimes instead of using the zoom to correct it, I just get to use my hand to move my job. So one other thing that you'll be needing as a designer is your zoom functions, right? So for me, I can just press my Z and click, right? If I press my Alt, I can also click, I can also zoom back, Z. You can see on my cursor, you have on the zoom cursor, you have your P, and when I click on my up, it changes to minus. Zoom out, zoom in. Then another way I use is to hold the control key and tap my minus, right? Minus, plus is actually, so let's say in a situation where I have my work like this and I want to bring it to fit, you can do control zero. Control zero will bring that to fit. So let me click on plus. If I don't want to use control zero, all I will need to do is to right click, and once I right click, it gives me this option to say fit to screen 100%, print size and whatsoever. So my usual option here is fit to screen, and it goes back to fit to screen. Is that okay? So far we've done, okay, good. So far we've done how to open a new page. We've talked about paper size and orientation. We've talked about how to import images. We've talked about the move tool. We've talked about the text tool. We've talked about the shape tool. We've talked about the hand tool. And we've also talked about the zoom tool. So let me just give a few minutes for questions. Do you have questions? Any question?
So I think I do have a question.
Okay.
So what's the difference between Photoshop CC and normal Photoshop?
Okay, so it's just like different versions, right? The CC stands for Creative Cloud. So they are just different versions. It's just like I think there's Photoshop 2025. The reason why a lot of us run away from it is because as they are upgrading, they are also tightening their security. So for instance, now I have Photoshop 2023, but I can't use it while my internet is on because they will track it. Since we are used to always buying cracked softwares. So the CC six, I think the CC starts from, is it 16? I don't know where it started from, but let's say it's 16, 17, 18. These are just different upgrades. Yeah, you get, they just make it more functional and more easy for people to use. But like I started when I was talking, right? What makes you a great designer is not even the software version per se, because there are a lot of guys who use CorelDRAW and they are so good, right? So what makes you a designer is your mind, is what you think. That is what makes you a designer. Is that okay?
Yes, I mean, however, I discovered that some of where the icons and the whatever is not the same thing that I'm seeing on your screen. So I have to now use my intellectual to start looking for where those things are. So that's why I'm asking you the difference between a
Oh,
CC
okay,
and
okay, good, okay, good. Now I'm
so that
sure,
means
I'm sure when I clicked on that shape tool, right? Your own property toolbar did not pop out like that, right?
at all.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
to
yeah. So maybe this is what I would have done before I started. I would have just come here and I would say maybe essential default. Yeah, let me just go here. I've scattered this thing. Does yours appear like this?
oh
Did yours appear like that? Yeah, so I'm sure this is the default look. This is the default look here. So yeah, this is the default look. So in case if you pick a shape and this property 2 didn't come out. Now can I ask a quick question? I just drew a rectangle, right? And I cannot see
Mm.
my color, but I can see a symbol that my rectangle is there. What do you think is the issue? Why do you think my rectangle is not showing?
Maybe because you've not selected it.
Now I have selected it. Just look at the property 2 here. Look at my property 2, and
Okay.
yes. So why do you think my rectangle is not showing?
No solid color.
There is a solid color there, but the color is white. The color is
Mm.
white on a white canvas. So once I change it to blue, you can see that my rectangle is visible now, right? Good.
Makes
So
sense.
you can use this property to always track whatsoever is going on your canvas. So in case you don't see this property bar here, you can always come to window, and on window you have them here. So anything that is not here, you can easily just click on. Like for instance, this is property. I click on it, you can see it pops out, right? So anytime
Okay.
anything is missing from your Photoshop, maybe any toolbar, you can just click on window and then search here, you know, to get whatsoever you're looking for. Is that okay?
Thank you very much.
Good. So the next thing we're going to be talking about are layers. What are layers? Now, there is no way you would escape what layers are. So let me just close this. I'll just close this tab because I want this to be very visible. So I'll just drag this out, and this is Photoshop layer. So how does this work? Now, if you notice on this layer, I have some options here: 4x rectangle 2, 1, Lorem Ipsum, and my background. If I slide this to the left, let me slide this to the left, you would see that everything on my layer is actually what is on my canvas. Is that okay? Everything on my layer is what is on my canvas. You can see this 4x here, right? This is the 4x here. Rectangle 2, we might not be able to note which is rectangle 2, but this tells us that we have rectangle 1 and rectangle 2. We have two rectangles here. So how do we get to know rectangle 1 and rectangle 2? So currently, I've selected rectangle 2. Let me come down to my move tool, click on my move tool, and I just use my mouse and drag anywhere. You can see that this is rectangle 2. Right? So now what is the job of your layer? It helps you to organize your jobs. It helps you organize your jobs. So it also makes the organization very strict, that the only way you can access an object is when you've selected it on the layer. Right? For some other softwares, you just click and it works, right? But in a real sense, every software has layers, just some are hidden. CorelDRAW has layers, but it's not that visible. Anything you click, it automatically would select that object on your layer. Is this English too much? Hello, are we there?
No, it's not too much.
Okay, thank you. So anything you click on your layer, right, on CorelDRAW, it will automatically set that. Now, funny enough, Photoshop also works that way, but for me, I prefer this strict way. Now, the strict way helps me. So let's say, for instance, I have a lot of items here, and I want to select a particular item. Before I'm able to select that particular item on my Canva, I must first select it, right? So let me select this Lorem Ipsum here. I want to select this Lorem Ipsum here, and I want to know which of them. All I need to do is just to select and drag. I know this is it. Now we can also switch it to work like CorelDRAW. How do we do that? Is to come here and click on auto select. So once you click on auto select, now I want you to pay attention on this side here, on this layer. Let me click on this. You can see it's selecting, right? You can see it's selecting. So with this, I can just click, do what I want to do, click and do what I want to do. But so I don't use this because sometimes I do a lot of jobs that have so much designs in them. So let me open something. Let me just open a job. Let me see. Okay, let me open this job here. This is our flyer for the program, right? So let me come here and zoom here. So are we seeing my screen? Okay. So currently, right, these are all the elements. This is the layer of this design, right? Every element on this layer is well represented on this design. So now let's say I want to select these these lines here, right? And I'm on auto select, right? So you can see as I clicked on it, I'm able to select it. So let's say I want to work on this text, right? Maybe around this area, maybe I want to select these lines around this text area. It might be a little bit difficult for me, right? So I might want to select this text, and you can see that I want to select this line, and because of this text is here, you can see that I might not be able to get it rightly until maybe I zoom so close to it, then before I'm able to pick it, right? You can see I've been able to pick it, right? So this option works. Some people use it, but for me, I don't use it because I prefer to search for it here manually. So what I do most times is instead of just giving this name, I tend to rename them. We're actually going to get to that. So let's just go back here. We can see we just have this our humble design with just few layers. So how does this work, right? Before you select anything on your Canva, you can select it. Not seeing you are not seeing my screen. Please, who else is not seeing my screen? Who else is not seeing my screen? Hello, are we there?
Yeah, I'm seeing your screen now.
Okay. Messi, I guess it's network, right? You can go out and come back or just hang in. It will fix itself. Okay. So the way the layers work is you select whatsoever you want to work on before you work on it. So now there are some few things you can do with these layers. You can actually rename them. So let me go back here. Let me use this as our example. So currently we have a lot of things to do here. And in order for me to be precise, to get a good name, so that I can just easily go through, I can come to this name. In this case, this is image whatsoever. I can just double click it and type lines, right? So you can rename your layers. So let me come here on this text. So this text here, I can just say, I call this what you will learn. I'm just renaming the layers here. Let me zoom out a little bit. So for this, usually I call it theme, right? So I think this is well renamed. So let me come here. For this, I called it group. So you can also create a group. We're going to be dealing with that. So for now, I just want you to see that you can actually rename your layers. So for instance, if I want to go to what you would learn, I can just come here, what you would learn. Let me see, this is it, right? Do you understand? Do you understand? Good. So you can rename your layer. So let me just go back here. So I won't go back to that job again in order not to confuse you so much. So you can rename your layer. So let's say for this text, I want to call this title text. This rectangle, I want to say big blue rectangle. This one, I want to call it subtitle text. And the last one, I want to say body text, right? So let me, my body text is selected. I don't know which is my body text in between these two. All I will just do is to drag. I know this is my body text, right? So I can choose to copy. Let me just copy. Yeah. So for this body text, I can just choose to copy, and I want to make it more. So I'm actually pasting my body text, and I see that it is clustered, right? So in a situation like this where my body text is clustered, what can I do? All I need to do, let me just, I'm coming, just give me a moment. All I need to do is to come to my text. Now I can't see my text panel here because of these changes I did, right? I'll just come to window and look for character, right? You can see. Now look at my leading, right? My leading is 2.44 points. I will just come here and keep it on auto. You can see on auto my my text has fixed itself. So after I put it on auto, if I feel that the space in between them is much, I can now come back here and maybe try 48. 48 is fine. I can just select it and just use my down arrow, you know. And as I'm using my down arrow, I believe that I should be able to get something good. So this is 28. Yeah. So 28 is okay. So we are talking, okay, I don't think 28 is okay. So let me just I'm just selecting them and clicking enter. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. So this, click on my move to come here and set it to auto. I think this is good. So currently we are selecting the body text, right? So this rectangle 2, which is rectangle 2, okay, this is the rectangle 2. I was thinking it was the big rectangle. So we can rename this to big rectangle, then come here and say small rectangle. So another thing is I can click on this rectangle here, right? I click on this rectangle here. I'm not, I know my properties here, but in case if I'm not here familiar with this icon, I can click on my window and then property, come here and change it to red. So there's something I want to show you. Now that is red, on your layer, you can actually see that it is red, right? So another way you can access your colors is to double click this small window here. So once I double click this small window here, it pops up my color and I can just change it to this color and you can see it is updated. Is that okay? So another thing I can do with my layers here is I can choose to group layers. So why do they group layers? You group layers in order to work very effectively, efficiently, and also work organized. So let's say I have um, I have this rectangle and I want to resize it. I want to put something like sign up on it. I'll click on my Control T to bring in my resizing tool, adjust it this way, and stretch it this way. And the next thing I want to do here is to curve the edges. So to curve the edges, I'll come to my property here, come to this tool here that we spoke about. I want to click on the lock. I want it to be locked, and I want each edges to have 30 pixel px. Right? You can see we have that. Then the next thing I want to do here is I want to have a text that says sign in. So I'm going to be using our subtext. So let me come here and do sign in. So I have sign in, but I'm not sure we've ever seen sign in that is italicized, right? It's usually straight. So I'll come to my character here, A. If I don't want to come here, I can come to my windows and look for characters. Here, where is character? Character, it pops out. I want to remove this. Then I want to resize it. I can choose to make the size 100. I can choose to make the size 100. Of course, 100 is too big. I can maybe choose to make it 70. Let me make it 70. Now, fixing it on my rectangle, I'm seeing that the colors are in graphic design term is called is not contrasting. I need to change the color to something that can contrast, right? So I'm just going to come here and I'll use a white color. I have this. Are we together? Are we together? Please give me a thumbs up if we are together. Thank you very much. So I have this already. I just feel I can reduce my sign in a little bit. I can just come here. Maybe I'll make it 65. So 65 is okay. I feel my signing is too tight. I want it to spread a little bit. My tracking is -50. I can just make it -20, my 25. Yeah, and I think it's okay. So for this, I have my signing. I will try as much as possible to centralize it. So this is an additional for you for this class. If you want to centralize something, you have to hold two objects together. You have to first select two objects before you centralize. So currently, I think I'm on my big circle. So I didn't want to say this now. If you want to turn on a layer, all you need to do is to tap on these eyes here. So why do I do that sometimes? Sometimes I use this to know, outside taking off a particular object on my design, I use this to know which element I have selected. So you see the way I just wanted to be sure if it was this one, I just turned it off and on. So if you want to select two objects designing, all you need to do is to press Control and select the next one. Now please notice this. Because I selected these two, these options here came out. Now these are alignment options. You actually align in two ways. We are going to be talking about this much later. You align vertically and you also align horizontally, right? Straight and middle. So in this case, I'll just make it middle and I'll also make it middle, right? No much sign is because I've been able to get the position. So let's say we are done aligning this. Now, for the fact that these two are selected, we can move them, we can move them around our Canva, right? There are a lot of things we can do with them. We can also click on Control T, we can resize them together, and all that. But anytime the selection leaves, maybe it goes to one, you can see that I'm only able to select the rectangle, right? I'll just do Control Z to go back to where we are. So in order to always avoid me selecting one, trying to work on this, I can choose to select the two of them, then group it. Now move lower here, down at the down of the layer panel here, you have this folder here, which is your group. So once you click on the group, you can see it is now called group one, and you have an arrow. This arrow, look at this arrow, it shows that, okay, look at the difference. If I click on this, when the arrow is down, it brings out the content. When the arrow is facing the right, it shows that the contents are in. Down brings out the content and that. So for me, I would just want to quickly rename this. I'll just double click here as we've said and call this sign in. So I have sign in here. So long my group is selected, I can easily drag my content. So you see how easy it is. Anything I want to do, I can easily resize it. So let's say peradventure, I want to change the color of the shape. All I need to do is to click on this one, come down. Now I need my color palette, or I just double click here and make this color, and we are good to go. I can also click on the subtitle, come to my font and choose to change the width of my font. You can see we are good to go. And the beautiful thing is they are all in a group. That's the beautiful thing. They are all in a group. Are we good? Are we good? Good. Let me check if this is still recording. Okay, so it's recording. Good. Now what other things can I do on my layer, right? So let me close this, and so I can choose to select. So the way it works is it's first select what you want and then it comes up. Now, because we are just dealing with shapes, text, and some other things today, we might not be um, doing so much here. So, but just notice when I bring in another shape, you would notice that a new layer joins, right? So let me double click on this and save, change this color. Now, if I want to delete any of this, I can simply just click on this waste bin here, click on it. You can see there's an option here that is telling me, do you want to delete layer I? I can choose to say yes, but let me undo it. Another way is to drag it down to this waste bin. Yeah. Then another way is to hit on your delete on your keypad. You see, three ways to delete. You click on the waste bin, you click on yes, you drag it down here, or you use your delete key. So there is one more thing I want us to discuss on this before we go to our classwork today. So we are going to be doing a classwork, and we are going to be designing something, but let me first say this. So there's a way this layer works. Okay, I forgot to mention this. Now imagine you have these two objects. you have these two objects together. You have these two objects together, and then you want this is it blue rectangle to come in front of this. Now, if you look at our layer, the way our layer is positioned, everything cascades on each other. So let me bring in a shape. Now, because I actually reset my my Photoshop to the default interface, you can see my icons have changed just like the way Peter was talking about. Now on my shape, we didn't have it the way we had it before. So anywhere you see this fly out option, these little triangles, it shows that there are options inside them. So how do you bring them out? You left click and hold, right? You left click and hold to bring them out. Another way you can bring them out is by using the shortcut. The shortcut is U, right? In this case, since you have other options inside that option, you can hold your shift key and your U. So notice, are you seeing that my shape 2 is actually changing? It's because I'm actually pressing my shift and my U. So the more I tap the U, the more it changes. So in this case, we just want a rectangle, and we have that rectangle. So notice that as I draw my rectangle, what happens? It comes on top of the previous rectangle. Let me bring in a text. Let me say this text is Sam. As I brought in my text, you can see it came up on top of the rectangle too. So it cascades. It comes on top of each other, right? So your earlier object will definitely cover the previous object, just like what we have here. In this case, rectangle 1, let me rename it to red. Let me rename it to red. It's actually covering the small rectangle, which is blue. Now, if you pay attention to the cascading part of this layer, you see that my red is actually on top of my blue, right? Are we together? Please, if you understand me so far, I would just want you to give me a thumbs up. Do you understand me so far? Okay, good. So we can see that my rectangle red is on top of my rectangle blue. So how do I bring my rectangle blue up? Right? I can just simply either select my rectangle blue and move it up, or undo, bring my rectangle red back. Right? That is the way. On other softwares like Corel Draw, you have move up, page up, you know, move up, page up, move to top, move to bottom, right? So for this, you can just select the layer or select whatsoever you want to move, and you drag it on top of each other. Is that okay? Yeah. So tomorrow we are going to be working on colors, but this is just like an introduction to what we'll be doing tomorrow. So another thing you can do on your layer is you can choose to blend backgrounds on your layer. So let me click on rectangle blue. This is rectangle blue, and in this place here, I have this place here is these are where your blending modes are. Currently, it is normal because nothing is happening. But when you click on this, you see different blending modes. So blending modes are just ways that your object or your image blends with another. That is what the blending mode. That's what the blending mode is. So once I begin to move my blending mode, you can see that you would notice that the blue rectangle which is selected is now reacting to the red um rectangle in different ways, right? In different ways. So these are not actually used for shapes per se, they are used for images. Like I said, we're going to be doing a class, we are going to be doing a class assignment. So is used for images majorly, but we're just trying to see how it works. So you see, this is how it is reacting. Now, another way is you can actually use this option here called opacity. Opacity handles the visibility of an object or an image. So for instance, the opacity of this blue rectangle is 100%. That means it will be all visible. So once I come here I can use this slider to start reducing the visibility just in order to blend this blue rectangle with the red rectangle. So this one here, this is the one that is actually used for shapes. It's called fill, right? So if you want to work on pictures, you use opacity, but if you want to work on shapes, you use fill. Even on fonts, you use fill. So you see, fill actually works better when it comes to shape, right? Then for here, I'm just going to be touching this one. This is lock, right? For instance, we have this background here, lock. The reason is because so that we don't accidentally move it. You can see as I'm trying to move, as I press hold on the background, trying to move it, it's saying that I could not use this tool because the layer is locked. So how do you unlock a layer? For most cases, it's important that you lock some layers, right? But you can actually unlock a layer by just double clicking on it. As I've double clicked on it, now it will bring out this option. In most cases, let me go back. In most cases, when you lock your layer, you double click on it, it brings up an option. Okay. Okay, so this lock here is different from the first lock, right? But in most cases, once your layer is locked, you just double click on it. It will bring out an option to ask you to rename the layer, right? So because of time, I might not want to maybe open a new page to show that, but that's how it works. It gives you an option and tells you to rename it. After renaming it, you can give it an OK. So now that we've opened this layer, let me select on it. We can see that we are now moving this white canvas, right? And we can see this empty space. Now, in designing or in Photoshop, anywhere you see this kind of look alike, this kind of image, it shows that it is empty, right? It is empty. That is what it means. So let me just do Ctrl 0 to fit to screen and do my undo to have that. So in most cases, right, I usually have this layer locked. And how do you lock a layer? You just select it, and you come to this padlock and you click on it. So we can actually choose to lock one of these red backgrounds. So let me check. This is the red background. I can just come here and click it to lock it. So now that I've locked it, I won't be able to move it, right? So you can also lock a group. So this is a sign in. This is our sign in group. So we can choose to lock it. And when we lock it, okay, I've not locked it. When we lock it, we won't be able to move that. Do you understand? If you understand, please give me a thumbs up. Good. So thank you very much. So now let's work on something at least we've been able to. Lucy, what's the problem? Hello, you can mute your mic. You don't understand?
Let them go and
Yes, sir.
Okay,
The fact that I need to like that, like I don't know how to get that lorem ipsum, all those stuff.
okay. It shows that
Do we need to type it?
you came late. You came late to the class.
Yes,
That's why.
sir.
Okay, there's no worry.
Yes, sir.
Just try and stick around. I'll be uploading this video for you to watch. How you get the lorem ipsum? You just click on your text and you click you click on anywhere you want to type, right? You click on it and the lorem ipsum is just like a default text that shows you the font type, the size, the color and all. So you can just choose to double click on it and change it to what you want, right? So that is how that works. So I believe we all understand all what I have spoken about today, right? So the ground is open. Yeah. Do you have any question? Do you have any question for those of you here? Is there any question? Any question before we go into the class assignment for today? Are we good? Okay, so I believe the silence means we are good. So we are going to be creating this today. We are going to be creating this design, right? So we're going to be creating this design. Can we see the design? Lucy, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. How are we going to get the picture?
Definitely, I'll send it to you.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so on this design, you don't have much on this design. You just have text I'm a graphic designer. Then if you check, you have something like a pattern, right? A pattern there. All these things were carefully selected. All these things were carefully selected. You just have a pattern and then you have this image. And I think that's all. So if you also check, I'm a graphic design, you can see the I am a. You can see I used the tracking function there, right? That is why you have enough space, in between them. Then I think these are different fonts. Yeah, I think they are different fonts. And then just add image. So we are going to be recreating this. So what do we need to recreate this? Let me just first of all, this is a square size, so it can be 4 by 4, 5 by 5 inches, 10 by 10 inches. But if we are using pixels, it is 1080 by 1080. So the first thing I'll do is to click on my file. Remember how we started, right? File, and I click on new, right? So when I clicked on new, I have my recent jobs here, but of course, I'll just come here and rename that to be class assignment, class assignment, class assignment. So for you, class assignment. Then for the width and the height, I want it to be 1080 by 1080. Remember, for resolution, you can leave yours at you can leave your resolution at 72px. Yeah. Then when we have that, we can just click on create. So we have our page. So the first thing we want to do here is the color, right? So I will just go here to sample the color. Now, your eye, when you click on your eye tool, it brings in your eyedropper, right? And my eyedropper, I just want to use it to know this color. I want to use it to know this color. So just to get this color, I'm going to be sending you the color codes and everything we might need to create this assignment. So I'll come back to my assignment here, right? Then I want to bring in my layers. Now, please pay attention to this. There is this option here, right? We can do it in different ways. You can achieve what you want to achieve in different ways, right? But let's just explore all what we've learned today. Let me come here and create a rectangle that will fill my Canva, right? Rectangle that would fill my Canva. I have this. Now, it actually came with this color because we selected this color somewhere. So, right, I can see some white spaces here which I don't appreciate. So I'll just Control T and extend it to the edge. You know. Now let me open my layers. Um, Michael, what's the problem?
So I think I lost you for a while on network.
Okay, at
I
what point?
lost you after you created the Canva thing, where you were saying there are different ways to go about something.
Okay,
The
good.
network.
So what I just did here, this is just a rectangle. I just came to my rectangle
The
to here.
rectangle.
Yeah, it's a rectangle. I just created a rectangle that fills the whole of my Canva.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I want to do with this is I will just want to drag this panel here and stock it somewhere around here so that I don't always have to bring it out. So now this now is my background, right? What I want to do here is I want to lock it so that I don't accidentally move it, right? I want to lock it so that I don't accidentally move it. So the next thing I want to do is to get this pattern. I want to get this pattern. You notice the assignment, there's a pattern, right? So I would come to my folder. I have a folder here where, um, sorry, I'm using two screens. So that's why I can draw some things from a particular place. So this is my folder here. This is my pattern here. I downloaded this pattern from Pinterest. So I drag this pattern into this place here. Then I want my pattern also to fill my screen. So I will just drag this here, drag it here to fill my screen. Is that okay? Is that okay? Good. Then the next thing I want to do is
Yes.
I want to blend my pattern into my shape. I want to blend my pattern into my shape. Then this is where I would now come into this blending tool that we learned about. So I will just carefully go around it carefully. You can see on multiply, right? Multiply gives me something good, right? Right? You can see multiply gives me something good. I can still go ahead to try linear bond, color bond. I can just try different options to see what I can get. Even divide also gives me something good. Yeah. But if I want to go according to the class, maybe I'll use multiply, or maybe color bond. Color bond is a little bit harsh. Linear bond is a little bit harsh. Maybe I might just leave it at multiply. Yeah. Now, if I want to reduce this this background, if I want to reduce the background, the visibility of this background on this red, I can as well just come to my opacity and reduce it. Yeah, but I think it's very okay like that. Now, a quick one. Remember that we just blended this up background to this pink like rectangle, right? So let me unlock this and let me change the color of this rectangle. So So the more I change the color of this rectangle, the more we'll be seeing different colors, right? So that's how it works. Let me take it to blue. You can see, right? So this up layer here is simply blending with this one. Let me lock it. Now the next thing I want to do is to bring in my text, my picture, right? So this is the picture here. I will just drag this picture here, and then I would increase this. So there's a problem here. There's a problem here. If you notice, right, the the texture is on the picture. Are we together? Yes, the reason why the texture is on the picture is because the texture is on top of my picture. Now remember when I said that when you are bringing things into Photoshop, it cascades from the top, right? But in this case, look at what I did. So let's say I want to bring an object into Photoshop and I want it to be on top a particular thing. What I would do is I would have to select, let's say I want it to be on top rectangle one. I've selected rectangle one, then I'll come here to my picture and drag this in. So you will notice that it has come on top of rectangle one. So let's say I want it to be on top of my pattern, which is where I want it to be. I'll just come here, select this, and drag it on top my pattern. You see how it works, right? So you can see it is now on top my pattern, right? Is that okay? Good. So the next thing I want to do now is to type in the text. The text is I am a professional graphic designer. So click on the tool and we just click here and we type I am a professional. That's the first one. So in this case now, right? Now I also didn't say you also have the property of whatsoever you're working on at the title bar. This is the title bar. So look at the title bar, right? With this, we have an idea of why our color is not showing, right? Our color is not showing because this color is what? Is the same color, right? So I will just click on this, right? Once I click on the mark, I'll come to my either come to my windows and click on character or look at my character here. Click on my character, I can see it's the same color. I'll come here and change it to white. So for this font, I think the font I used here is Montserrat. So let me just come here and change the font to Montserrat. Change it to Montserrat. Maybe I can use now. So this Montserrat has a lot of font families, right? That's why it's like that. You can just click here. It has a lot. It's a very good font, a very popular font. So then I would remove the italic here. Then what I want to do is I want to give it good tracking, maybe 100. Yeah, 100. Maybe let me increase the so 25 is too small. So tracking works best when the font sizes are smaller, right? So maybe let me make a capital letter. I can still reduce this to 35. Yeah. I want to still reduce, I want to increase the tracking to maybe 250. Yeah, 250. And then I want to bring in another font again and type graphic, enter designer. Yeah, so what I want to do here is I will use another font called Bebas. Yeah. So for this Bebas font, right, it works best when the tracking is very tight. So this is too tight. Let me take it to 50 and Control T because I don't have time to start imputing the sizes here. I will just increase it and click on this, and I can see that I have too much space in between graphic designing. So I can just come here, maybe try 72. It's too much. So let me try 200. 200 is fair. Maybe I'll try 180. 180 is fair. Maybe I'll try 170. Okay, I think we're good to go. So now let's look at our assignment. So we can see that this graphic designer is aligned to the center, right? So I come here, double click on this to make sure it's selected. When I double click on this to make sure it's selected, I can now put this at center, right? Center, and we have this here. Are we good? If you are still with me, please give me a thumbs up. Okay, good, thank you. So now, good. So good. So now let's see the way our designer is. So the image is just covering a little part of designer. So let's achieve that. So first of all, what I will need to do is you can see that my graphic designing now. So look at this assignment. The image here is covering designer, right? So in order to achieve this, we need to bring designer a little bit back of this image, right? So we have I am, which is here. We have the image at the center, and we have designer. So this image, we just have to maybe take it down a little bit, right? Take it down a little bit. Let me select all this. I'm holding control to select the three because I just want to adjust this. And then let me still let me bring this image. This image I feel is too big. So let me use Control T to resize it. Yeah, I am a graphic designer. And then so the next thing I want to do here is to change the color of this designer. I think we have that here. This is the color. So I'll click on my color picker I get this color, right? We are going to discuss all this, so there's no problem. Then I come here. So what I want to do is I want to double click on this and make sure I select only the color, right? I select only the color. I can click on this, come here and paste my color. I have that there. And then let's come over to our assignment again. This graphic color is not totally white, so I'll click on my color picker to right? Come to my assignment. Oh, I'm supposed to copy my color. So just come here, copy my color. I'm using Control C to copy the color. Click on my T to go to the text to select this, and click on Control V, and we have that color. So let's check on our assignment. So you notice that I am A is the same color with the designer. I am A is the same color with the designer. Then professional is the same color with graphic. So we can come there and do. Let me select my text to T. Come here. I am A. click on my color. Once I click on my color, we see that the color tool also appears, right? So I'll click on this. I'll click on the designer. You can see that our color is immediately replicated here. And I click on OK. I want to do the same thing for professional. So I'll click here, select, come here and click on graphic. And we have that. Do you understand so far? Good, good. Thank you very much. So I think this our background here, this our pattern here is too busy. So let me first rename it. Let me just rename it to pattern so that we can easily identify it. So let me rename this to main character. Yeah, I think we're good to go. So for this pattern, I think we should reduce the opacity a little bit. Yeah, I think it's fair like this, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not good that you have elements that are causing distraction on your design. Yeah, because at the end of the day, what you want to pass to people is the content, right? So you are just trying to make the surrounding beautiful, right? So I think we are okay this way. So I just feel we should bring everything down. So let me come here, select all my elements, and then maybe I wouldn't want to select the pattern. It's just my write-up and the image, and bring this down. So let's see my assignment, what we have next. Oh, okay. So we are okay. I think this is not complete, but we can actually just add something like um call now or call me now. In order to add that, I would want us to use an ellipse, just something around here, like maybe call me. I'll have this. So I want to design it in a way. Now you can duplicate your layer. You can duplicate your layer. So what do I mean duplicate? You can use one element to get another one. The shortest way is to press Ctrl J, right? Ctrl J here duplicates it. We have ellipse 1 here. Here we have ellipse 2. So for this, I want to give it a color around this guy. I want to give it a color around this guy. Yeah. So I've given it a dark color. If you check close to my layer here, you can see that we have a color here. But why is it not showing? Who can answer that?
So I think it's because it's beneath
Yes,
what you call.
exactly.
I'm going to explain it. Okay.
You have already said it. Don't need to go too far. It's beneath it and they are also the same size. So naturally it will be covered by the one on top. So all I need to do now is to select this down one and maybe stretch it out a little bit, right? We can see it here, right? So this is just to create a pattern. Yeah. So in order to work efficiently, right? Sometimes I don't always come to the text to type. I will just get my text from my work here and duplicate it. Duplicate it is Ctrl J, right? I've duplicated this one. All I want to write here is sign in. So it helps me to work faster, right? For some system, anytime you click on text, all the fonts will have to load, right? And in that loading process, you'll be wasting time. Then people like me that don't have patience now will now be frustrated. So most times, instead of always clicking on the text tool, I just pick a text on my Canva or something I'm working on already, and I duplicate it. Even though if I need a shape, right, I don't need to go back to my shape tool. So long I have that shape on my design, I'll just duplicate it. So in this case now, there's a problem. We have sign in and our sign in is not showing, right? I'm sure you know why our sign in is not showing. Our sign in is not showing because remember that we duplicated this graphic design um, text and look at where it is. Automatically to come on top, and since it's on top, we have all these other elements on top of it. So it is hidden. So all we need to do is to select it and what drag it up so that it shows and we have that. So for this sign in, we're going to use a font called Montserrat. So there are a lot of principles around designing, right? There are a lot of principles around designing, and I hope that we'll have the time to talk about
I
it.
don't know whether it is possible.
Yeah. So I will just reduce this font to maybe 50. It's just something for them to see and sign in. Let me see. Do you think this font is okay?
I'm not seeing, sir.
Okay, the reason why you're not seeing is network, right? Who is seeing my screen here? Okay, so please just Umaro, just hold on. It's network. I can just change this sign into maybe call now, right? Call now. I feel call now is okay. Um, I think I'm going to change this to my former font, Bebas. Let's see. Yeah, I think Bebas is cooler. Is it? Let me check the assignment. Let me see the okay. Okay, I don't have that here. But let's say corner is okay. And then let me just do Control T and increase my text a little bit. Now, if you notice on my call now, the text are like clustering, right? I can come to my tracking and maybe make it 35. Yeah, I think this is fair. So let's say I want this call now text to be a different color. I want it to be a different color. Let me select the call now. Select the call now. Come here and we play around colors. See colors that are fair. Maybe around the shirt and all that. Mm, Well, I don't enjoy this so much. So what I'll do is this ellipse here, I want to change the color because I want my call now to pop. Yeah, I think this way my call now will pop better. So let me come back to the call now and give it this color. Then this other, yeah, then this other ellipse here, I'll change the color. Let me change it to white or maybe this graphic design color. Uh I think this is okay. It's okay. It's okay, kind of. It's okay, kind of. But let's just do something creative again. I like the way this white here is coming across this one on top. So I can duplicate it. I've duplicated this white here by pressing Ctrl J, and I can maybe just extend it this way. I think this is kind of creative, Sha. Yeah, this is creative. Yeah. So I have three ellipse here that has helped us achieve this corner. I think this is creative. So in order to have them in one place, I'll just select every one of them and I would group them. So let me just call this call now button, right? I want to reduce it. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it at this position. It depends on where you feel it's okay. So for me, I think maybe it's okay like this. I don't know. Then for my graphic designing, I would want to maybe just touch the spaces a little bit. Okay, so I think we have something that can work. Well, I still feel my pattern is a little bit pronounced. I can still choose to. Yeah. Any questions so far?
Me, I'm not, I'm not seeing.
You're not
That
saying.
is why I have no question. Serious. Maybe it's the issue. It's a problem. It's a network
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, it's network. No worry, you have the video to work on. Yeah. So any questions so
Okay,
far?
but when we finish, you go feel and put that up so that I go download them.
No problem. Please, you can mute your mic.
Okay.
Yeah. So is there any question so far?
Yes, sir. Also, Mister, I cannot see it.
It's your network. Okay, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think we're good with this class, and I'll be dropping all these assets for you to replicate this design. And tomorrow we'll get to talk about colors and images. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you. Sorry, our next class will be, so I'll give you time. Yeah, thank you very much, Lucy. Our next class will be 18th on Thursday. Yeah, thank you. I don't, yeah, thank you. Thank you. So our next class will be 18th. So meanwhile, I want you to carefully go through this video, right? Yeah, you're welcome, Michael. Go through this video and see if you can replicate this. Definitely you have a lot of questions, right? Right. So I don't know. I know there are a lot of scammers on that our group. I know once I open it, they'll start sending that their rubbish Bitcoin there. That's why I don't want to open it yet. Yeah, but whichever way, um, you can. I think I'll open the group. Yeah, I think I'll open the group. Yeah. So when I open the group today, those unserious one will post their message, and I get to remove them. Then the serious ones will stay. So we can still do all the class activity on the group. Yeah, thank you very much. It's good that we're able to keep the time, and let's see on Thursday, same time. Bye.